Okay, so what is the area of a triangle? We need the formula. Area equals 1/2 base times height. Does not matter what type of triangle you have, you will use the same formula. We have a base of 11 and we have a height of 5. Don't get nervous that that dashed line looks like it's splitting that shape in half. It's not. It's just showing you the height. So I'm going to do 11 times 5, which is 55. And 1/2 in any formula means to divide by 2. Remember, everything that I am writing, you should be writing. So I need to divide 55 by 2. 2 goes into 5 twice. 2 goes into 15 7 times. And you can keep dividing by putting a decimal and a 0, or you can write your answer as 27 1/2. If you kept dividing with a decimal, you'd get 27.5. Either is acceptable. I want to show you that 27.5, but unfortunately this thing's not oriented. Because it's not 27.1. So if I did not want to use that 1/2 decimal 0, 2 into 10 is 5, so it's 27.5 feet squared. Area is always going to be squared units. Okay, this is an irregular shape, so you're going to have to add some lines to it. In the center, I have a square, and I have 4 triangles on the outside. So this is going to require 2 formulas. For area of a square, its area equals side to the 2nd power. And again, the formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So dealing with the square first, I'm going to put the measurements of all of the sides to help me, because I am going to need them into the formula of area of a triangle. They are my bases as well as the sides of the square. So for the square, area equals 4 to the 2nd power. Area equals 16 inches squared. That's for the square. The triangles, 1/2 of the base, which is 4, times the height, which is 3. What's 4 times 3? 12. And I need to divide that by 2 because it's a triangle. Please don't start dividing everything by 2. If it's 1/2 in the formula, that's when you divide. You don't just randomly start dividing every shape by 2, so be careful. 12 divided by 2 is how much? 6. That's the area of every triangle. There's no other measurements, so I don't need to check everything. To find the total surface area of this shape, I need to add the square plus a triangle plus a triangle plus a triangle plus the last triangle. And this is 40 inches squared. Okay, this question, what is the volume of the box? I'm underlining volume because I'm recognizing which formula I need to use. Length times width times height. And anytime I see mixed numbers, I need to change them to improper. So 5 times 5 is 25. plus 2 is 27 over 5. The next one, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9 over 4. So the numbers that I am multiplying are 27 over 5 times 9 over 4 times 4 over 1. All whole numbers will get a 1 as the denominator. You multiply all your numerators. You can do 27 times 9, or you can do 27 times 4 first, or you can do the 9 times 4, which is 36, and then multiply it by 27. As long as you do your math correctly, you will all end up with the same answer. $972 over 5 times 4, which is 20, times 1 is 20. Do you think I want it left like that? No, you should simplify. $20 doesn't go into 9. 20 goes into 97 4 times, giving you 80. 20 goes into 172 8 times. And you have 12 remaining. And you can write this as a decimal or a fraction. I'm going to keep going with the decimal. 20 into 120 is 6. So 48.6. But again, I would have taken 48 and 12 twentieths. Or there's even more simplified answers with that fraction. Perimeter. When you are looking for a perimeter, you add up all the sides. Not inside the shape, outside the shape. So, we've got to find the lengths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This has a side length of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This has a side length of 5. Opposite sides of this the same shape are the same numbers. So this is a 5 and this is a 10. If you want to double count it to be sure, go ahead. Now I just add up all these numbers. 10 plus 10 is 20. I can go ahead and chunk the 5 plus 5 and make that an additional 10, giving me 30. And since there's no label here of inches, meters, centimeters, I'm just going to label it units. It is not units squared. We did not find area. We only found perimeter. Okay? Surface area. Surface area is where you need to find the area of every individual shape of the net. And so we need two formulas here. This is very similar to what you found with the area of the irregular shape because that realistically was already a net. So we see that looks like a rectangle in the middle there. Length times width. Oh, actually it's a square, sorry. Side times side. I was looking at the other number. Side to the second power. And then we also have triangles. Okay, so again, I'm going to fill in so for area of a square, 7 to the second power. How much is that? 49. 49. Now for the triangles, 1/2 base times height, so 1/2 of 7 times 4. 7 times 4 is 28, and we're going to divide that by 2, which is 14. So these all have areas of 14. And then the center was 49. What will I do with all those answers? Add them up. So 14 plus 14 plus 14, I can do 14 times 4. 56. 56 plus 49, 105 inches squared. All right, this shape is a trapezoid. You don't need to add any more to it. You need to use the formula. And there actually is a little bit of math that you have to do with this problem. All right, so the area of a trapezoid, this is a big one. 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times height. The first thing you should do is identify the pieces. Okay, so this 15 down here is one of my bases. It doesn't matter if you label it base 1 or base 2. Now you will notice I don't have a base up here. This is where I need to find the base. Okay, so this part right here, this 3, from this side right here, I'm going to kind of draw this down here. This would be a 3. So opposite sides of shapes are the same. How long is this here if both of the outskirts are 3s? 9. So that's my B2. So it took a little bit of subtraction to figure that one out. Now I can plug in my information into the formula. Will I be dividing by 2 here at the end?
Yes.
Yes. So 15 plus 9 times 6. What's 15 plus 9? 24. 24 times 6, 144. And then I will divide by 2. That's because this formula has a half in it. 2 into 14, 7. 2 into 4 twice. 72 yards squared. Okay? Find the area of the right triangle. Again, the area is 1/2 base times height. Do I need all 3 of these numbers on this shape? No. Which one can I cross off? The 10, the diagonal. That's the hypotenuse. You won't need that until 7th grade unless you're finding perimeter of a triangle. Okay, so 1/2 of 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is? Will I divide this answer by 2?
Yes.
Yes. 2 into 0 doesn't happen. 20 inches squared. We just did one very similar to this. 1/2 B1 plus B2 times H. So let's identify our pieces. This one's a little bit easier. Now they've given me all the information. I have a base 1 of 10, a base 2 of 6, and a height of 5. That 2 I don't need at this time. It's a distractor. Will I be dividing this answer by 2 at the end?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so area equals 1/2. Base 1 is 10 plus 6 times 5. 10 plus 6 is?
16.
16 times 5 is? 80. And then divide that by 2. And think about this. Make sure you don't tell me the answer's 4 and forget about this last 0. 40 feet squared. Okay, perimeter. Again, perimeter is adding up all the sides. Do I only add the 13 and 6 because they're given to me? No, I need the other 2 as well. Opposite sides of a rectangle are the same length. Again, you can chunk this 13 plus 13 and 6 plus 6 and then add it all up. 6 plus 6 is 12. 13 plus 13 is 26. If you're not comfortable putting that in your head, then put it on the paper. 38 units. Again, this will not be a multiple choice questions quiz test. Okay, this question is surface area. We don't want to use that big formula, SA equals 2 length times W plus 2 length times width plus 2 width times height. Okay. We just want to circle, double. So 11 times 2, 22 times 2, 44. I want to circle two other numbers. 6 times 2, 12 times 2, 24. And then the last two numbers. 11 times 6 times 2, 132. And what do I do with those three answers? Add them. It doesn't matter what order you add numbers, as long as you make sure you know which numbers you're adding. Try to keep your work nice and neat. Not only for your sake, but for my sake. 200 inches squared. You will also be asked to draw a net on one of the questions. How do I draw a net of a three-dimensional rectangular prism? You draw a bunch of rectangles. And inside that shape, I want those circled math problems that you did. So you did 11 times 2. I want that in 2 boxes. You did 6 times 2. I want that in 2 other boxes. And you did 11 times 6. I want that in 2 other boxes. This will be worth points on your test. Being able to draw a net when it says you need to draw a net. It's based on a rectangular prism. It's the easiest net to draw. It's a bunch of rectangles. Okay, my shed measures 7.5 feet by 7.5 feet by 10. What is the volume? Volume. Length times width times height. When you're given three values for volume, you know you are using length times width times height. When you're given 2 values for volume, you're going to be using the area of the base times height. Change these. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 1 is 15 over 2, times 15 over 2, times 10 over 1. This is asking the same thing as we already did in one other question with volume. Multiply all your numerators. 15 times 15. 225 times 10. 2,250. That's my numerator. My denominator is 2 times 2. 4. Times 1. 4. Do I want my answer this way? No, you at least need to get it back into a mixed number by dividing. 4 does not go into 2. 4 goes into 22 5 times. Subtract, bring down the 5. 4 into 25, 6 times. 4 into 10 twice. And you can either stop there and write it as a mixed number, or you can continue on to make it a decimal. Both will be acceptable on the test. If I was to write this 562 and 2/4, or keep dividing. Make sure if you're using a decimal that you actually have the decimal in your answer. What is the surface area of a rectangular prism whose base measures 5 centimeters and each base has a height of 4 centimeters and a width of 2 centimeters? Okay. Sometimes when there's a lot of words, I need to draw a picture. In geometry, pictures are going to be more helpful and beneficial to you. And this is a surface area question. So you think of surface area, you're doing all that circling and multiplying and doubling. So I'm just going to put 3 numbers on my shape. That's going to help me identify which ones I should be circling and multiplying and doubling. So I'm going to circle and multiply 5 times 4. That's 20. Times 2 is 40. Going to circle. 4 times 2 is, what's 4 times 2? 8. Times 2 is 16. And then I'm going to circle 5 times 2, which is 10. Times 2 is 20. And what will I do with all those numbers? Add them. "76 centimeters squared." Okay, this question is volume. Okay, volume equals length times width times height. Since we're running out of time, I'm just going to show you how you would do this question. First thing you have to do is change all of these to improper fractions. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 1 would be 37 over 4. 3 times 5 plus 1 is 16 over 5. And the last one is 7 times 5 plus 2 is 37 over 7. We've already seen 2 other problems that require multiplying and simplifying. This is how you would solve this one. This one is area of the figure. Am I looking on the outside or the inside? Inside this time. So you have to be able to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You could also do a formula here. Okay? It is an 11 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just multiply those because area of a rectangle is length times width. Either way, either counting all the little boxes inside or using the formula, we would all get 66, and this would just be units. Squared. It's area. Okay, this last one, our volume equals length times width times height, and volume equals base times height, both formulas for volume. Yes. And the reason I put that there is because there is one question on your test that is using this formula. You know when to use it when it says area of the base. Then that's a huge problem for me because